Okay, this video is about replacing the wrist gaskets on your Kokatat dry suit. Some of this information, or even all of it, may be applicable to other dry suit brands. So, I have a separate video on my channel on doing the neck gasket. Now, here's a wrist gasket that needs a replacement. You can see they start to get all gummed up, and then they sometimes will rip at that point. It's a sign you need to do some repairs. I've got some clamps in a couple different sizes. These clamps above on the red come from the neck replacement tool. This is what you need: the wrist gasket replacement kit pair. You're also going to need some masking tape. This is my wrist gasket tool. I made it. It perfectly fit, so I made it from an old plastic cup I had. I had to cut it properly, but you can use something similar, make your own, be a little creative, or purchase the one Kokatat provides. Okay, your kit comes with some Aquaseal. I have some other Aquaseal here. There's 303 protectant to prolong the life of your gaskets, a sticker, and some sandpaper. 2 wrist gaskets. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is take sharp scissors, emphasis on sharp, and cut out the old gasket. They tell you in the instructions to let me see if you can see what I'm doing here. In the instructions, it tells you to cut it right where it meets the fabric. So I'll start a little bit above that just to make sure I don't do any damage. Or at least this arm inside out. Okay, takes a little effort to do. With other jigs, you may have to do it differently, but I think you can figure that out on your own. Oh, I'm missing my Isopropyl rubbing alcohol. Let me go get it. We're back. I have a rag and some rubbing alcohol, and the purpose is to clean here where the gaskets will be glued together. Essentially what we're doing here is to glue the new gasket on the base of the old gasket. You'll see they have these manufacturing dates for the gaskets. Let that dry. Now, while that's drying, I will turn the gasket inside out. Okay, here's the new gasket, and I turned it inside out to prepare things. Next, I will use sandpaper and scratch up the surface. Now, I will prep the gluing process. Prepping for the gluing. So the idea here is to overlay the new gasket such a way that it's basically right on top of where the old one was. Time, but that looks pretty good. Now you don't want any slippage happening here. Now you peel back carefully to where the two materials meet. Okay, now I prepped this is ready to glue. I have some Aquaseal and it's already been opened from a previous job I just completed. This is supposed to be enough for 2. Sorry, I'm trying to keep on camera. Okay, now we're going to spread the Aquaseal. That should be done in a previous step. And now I'll roll on carefully the new gasket to the old. And I'll have to manipulate it. And this is where you got to be careful. You don't want to get Aquaseal everywhere. If you do get it in places where you don't want it, use rubbing alcohol to remove it. This is a little bit out of step, but it should be fine. All right, at this point, I like to put the clamps in. I use one big clamp here. The only tip I have here is, well, the main thing I gotta say is if you do smear Aquaseal onto the gasket, that you need to clean it off before you use the clamp, because if you clamp, sticks to the gasket, when you disassemble everything, all the work will be done for nothing. Next thing you can do is just you need to lay it somewhere so the Aquaseal, if it does leak or touch up against anything, it's not going to ruin anything or ruin your job that we have going on here. All right, and I'll monitor that carefully for the first hour and look at slippage, and then let it go a full 8 to 12 hours, even 14 if I think it's needed. Check back in later. Okay, I've decided to go with a second clamp from underneath. Alright, we've let it dry. For drying time on Aquaseal, I'll put a link in the description, but it's 10 to 14 hours. May need longer for thicker applications. So we'll want to remove the masking tape. Yeah, just repeat that on the other side and you'll be done. This is next.